Hey everyone, this is your favorite radio host, your only radio host, of course, and favorite girl, Corinne Lafont, broadcasting to you from Trinidad and Tobago on Between the Lines. And I have a wonderful guest here with me, but before I say anything to her or about her, I always am grateful and thankful. And I was even saying to her, I'm so thankful it's a beautiful day. It's actually raining, it's actually overcast. The sun is just about peeping out at this time of the day, and it's what, to 11 a.m. here in Trinidad and Tobago. Over by her, she's, I think, 3 hours behind me, so she had to wake up a bit earlier than I did, But it's not a matter of a bit earlier, it's just a matter of the same timing. It just, in the clock world, yeah, material world is just 3 hours behind, but we're here at the same time. How do you explain that? So, how do you explain that? So I am so thankful to be here. I'm thankful to have another day. I'm blessed with new blessings, a do-over. I get another chance, and so do you. Yeah, when people don't want to give you second chances, we have 365, 366 chances in a year, every day, and you can get several chances during one day too. Imagine that. So I am thankful, and I'm thankful to have her, Jennifer Fink, on my show today. And here's the thing, she's a fellow podcaster, radio host. So one host to another, these things happen. So of course, I expect her to be questioning me. Yeah. Yes, I'm telling you, this happens when I interview a host, a fellow host, of their own show. Somehow it turns around and I end up being the interviewee. And they're the interviewer. It just happens in their DNA. So I'm expecting it. I'm not scared at all, Jennifer. And she has a flashing light behind her. So we're going to go with a kind of Halloween episode. She says, ooh, there's some little, scary ghosts kind of playing around with the lights. So we're going to go with that. So if you see any flashing lights like just happened a while ago, we don't know who has joined us. So let me tell you a bit about Jennifer Fink. So after the death of her father, Jennifer and her sister became responsible for their mother, who has advanced dementia. Searching for ways to connect better with her mom, Jennifer went in search of information but came up short. While doing hours of internet research like we always do, she realized that caregivers who had their family member full-time would not have time for this much research, which is true. She looked for a podcast that might answer the questions she had, but again came up short. There are over 16 million unpaid family caregivers in the United States. And that's just the United States. There are families with this type of thing throughout the world. And being one of those people made Jennifer realize that she couldn't be the only one struggling to find answers. Instead of giving up in frustration, she created her own podcast, of course, Find the Solution, tackling the topics and questions she wished she had answers to when her mom was first diagnosed. This new podcast is growing, but more importantly, Jennifer has touched others, helped others, and gained insights and knowledge she didn't know she needed. And of course, the title of this episode, the topic for discussion is When One Door Closes. Welcome, Jennifer Fink, to Between the Lines.
Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon.
Good night.
Whatever,
good day. But they're all here with us. It doesn't matter, 3 hours, 2 hours, behind, in front, ahead, same time. The amazing thing is that we're here at the same time. So whether you're behind or not, we're here at the same time. So Jennifer, you are one of those that when a door closes, you create a door, you build a door. Yeah?
Definitely.
Yeah.
My main career for the last 26 years has been a portrait photographer, which, considering I'm in California, it's probably surprising for people to hear that it is unfortunately a dying industry. The ability to take pictures with your cell phone camera and use an app to retouch them right then and there has kind of made me a little less necessary, unfortunately.
Just in the job, not anything else. It doesn't make you unnecessary in other areas.
Oh, that's true. That's what I meant in the career. So I've been looking for something else to do because I'm not very old. I'll be 52. Today is the 2nd, so a couple
You're
weeks.
young. You're young.
Yeah. So, and the bank likes to get paid for the house and everything else. So I've been looking for something else to do.
They said that they like to get paid for the house. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know. Greedy.
Right.
And my husband and I like to travel. So I'm, didn't want to go back into the corporate world. I've worked for myself for 26 years. So, I've been trying to find the right fit. And then 2 years ago, my dad ended up on hospital. Well, he ended up in the hospital for a month and then on hospice. And then the beginning of 2017 it was dark time because the dog died. My daughter moved out, which was good, but still tough. And then my dad passed away. And then we had to put my mom in a memory care community. So the first 2.5 months of 2017 were rough.
Wow.
Once we got through all of that, about this time last year, I was, back to what career could I move into that would give me all of the flexibility, the money, and the creative challenges that I enjoy. And I was at the gym, and it literally hit me upside the head. I'm like, I like podcasts. I should start my own, because I'd been searching for one to listen to about Alzheimer's and dementia and caregiving. And there aren't very many. And the one that's been around a long time it didn't suit me. It just didn't speak to me. And so I started researching and recording episodes in January of this year, 2018. And I have learned so much about that industry and social media management and caregiving. And it's been fantastic. The money part hasn't happened yet, but I have gained a lot of new contacts, new friends. Just I have like a different part of the world now that I didn't have before. And
and now you're busy. Now you're busy, and please show your cute T-shirt. Step back. Let's see that.
Oh, my shirt?
Yay!
This is my personal hashtag. ALZ is short for Alzheimer's, because that's a whole heck of a long word, and then obviously
it will take up right across your chest. Yeah.
It's on the back too. I'm going to an event this morning. It's a senior citizens walk for Alzheimer's.
Nice.
And my husband tripped over this gal's Facebook post. He is running for our city council, which that vote is next week. So that's been crazy. And he just tripped. I think she responded to something on his Facebook page, and he looked at her and he's like, wait a minute, she's doing something for Alzheimer's, and he connected us. So I got invited to this event at the literally very last minute. So
technology, look at that. Technology really, there are no borders. There are no borders. I mean, look at us here. You're in Northern California. I'm all the way in Trinidad and Tobago. And I talk to people from all over the world. And, at the same time, we're on at the same time, no matter the time difference. And there's no way that you can't find information, find people, connect with people anymore. There are no boundaries anymore,
Yeah. And it's, I was never a huge fan of Twitter, because I'm sure everybody knows Twitter can be a pretty vicious place. Yeah. But my Twitter feed is quite a bit on Alzheimer's, caregiving, dementia, that realm, a little bit of politics, just enough to stay relevant, and then a whole lot of independent podcasters.
Oh, nice.
There's times when things are retweeted and talked about, and it's like, oh, my little online podcasting family. It's kind of neat. I know they're out there.
Yes.
And some of them are not that far away from me, but we haven't connected in person yet.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So it's not even a career. You're enjoying what you're doing, and you're learning so much and giving back. And that's what podcasting and having your radio show, which is what I like to call it, online, because it's really radio. You know, it's just radio in a new way. It's not the traditional radio where we have to turn the dial,
Yeah.
you know, and try to catch the show else you miss it. You know, when you do it online, you can access it at any time. You can download it. There's so many things you can do. I know the light is distracting you. Just
it's like
annoying. Pretend it's not. No, don't worry about it. Pretend it's not there. It's not going on. Yeah, so it allows for that. And what I like about doing the show is you know, it helps me to, as you said, rightly said, meet people, learn, make connections, build relationships, and of course for my listeners and people watching, because we both use Zoom, so there'll be people who'll be watching as well as, I don't know if you just do the audio, but I do both video and audio.
So right now I just do audio. There are a lot of times I race home from the gym and jump on Zoom and interview somebody before I've gotten all dolled up for the day.
Yeah.
So nobody needs to be seeing that.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's good to educate and empower, you know, your listeners and watchers, because somebody at some point, because it has happened to us, we may be searching for something and we just land up on a particular recording, just like that, because we were searching for it. And it is so helpful. You know, at that particular point in time, you just needed to hear those words. You just needed to know that there's a possibility, and let me try and connect with the host. Let me try and, you know, something at all, you know. So it really helps in a lot more ways than you can imagine. And like I said before, it bridges a lot of gaps. There are no boundaries. So you are able to really connect with persons through time, through space, you know, and that's such a wonderful thing. It is such a wonderful thing.
Well, one of the reasons that I decided to do a podcast for caregiver support is caregivers' time is not their own, especially if they're dealing with a loved one with later stages of dementia. You never know, you know, if you're going to be able to attend a support group or sit down and read a book, because I'm very much a reader. But sometimes you just, you know, when you sit down to relax, you don't want to read something that goes along with the heaviness that you've dealt with all day. And you know, if somebody needs to listen to something at 2:00 in the morning or midnight, you know, whatever,
or driving in their car while they're in their car, you know, which is a good time to listen to a lot of things, because you have nothing doing. You're focused on the road and you can listen. And the thing with audio is that it allows you to do multiple things while you're listening. It's not like you have to, 1 second, my alarm is going off. It's not like you have to watch and do, you know, you're involved.
And one of the time I listen to podcasts a lot when I'm doing chores or with cooking dinner.
Yeah.
My husband, when he works from home, is in the kitchen, and he has a tendency to mutter to himself. And so listening to an actual conversation is better. Although sometimes if you're trying to read a recipe and listen to a podcast, sometimes you miss steps on the recipe. So you gotta be careful.
And you end up coming out with something totally different and wondered, what the hell happened here?
And I'm like, why is this ingredient still on the counter? Oops, I was supposed to put it in.
You couldn't be on the cooking channel or in one of those competitions.
No, probably not. I don't know how those people come up. They're like, here's a box of weird ingredients. Make something that tastes good. It would take me the amount of time that they give them to make the dish just to figure out what to make. So no, I'm not that destined for those competitions.
I love that. The ability to just think on the spot and come up with something and know how you will incorporate. But I want to come back though. I mean, that's a nice divergence from what we were talking, and it shows that we have some things in common. But you started off being a podcaster. You said, I think, was it in May? You told May this year. So you're pretty recent, just a few months. And it happened because you were searching for something and you couldn't, even though you found a few, it didn't meet up to what you were looking for.
Exactly.
So you have created an opportunity now. You have provided a solution. what would you think others who are also searching would say about your podcast?
Everybody that I've talked to, I've interviewed family members that are taking care of a loved one. I just last weekend interviewed a podcaster whose grandmother passed from dementia in June. I interviewed he and his mom, and everybody tells me, you know, they appreciate what I'm doing. It's so needed. You know, the information is really good. You know, I created something that I needed, that I wanted to hear. You know, Alzheimer's and dementia is it's sad, and it's a very heavy subject. So I try to keep it light. I try to throw in a little humor when I can, because if we can't find the humor in every day, we might just completely lose our minds, and that's no good. It wasn't, I think it was in June. It wasn't very long after I had launched that I got a Facebook message that says, oh my gosh, you know, I so needed this. And I thought, really? Okay, this is great. And it was somebody that I've known in the past. It's a local person. But I was shocked because I didn't know she was going through the same situation.
And you've known her, you see?
Yeah, and I know she's a regular listener. And the podcaster last week, he and his mom, it helped his mom process her mom's death. And they had some excellent advice. Their family is, I think, a little bit unusual. They pulled together and they call themselves the committee. When her dad said, I can't do this anymore, you kids need to find a care home for mom, they pulled this committee, is what they call it, together, and found, you know, they did all the research and the tours and found a couple places for them to look at, and then mom chose one of them.
That's nice.
And she has passed, but one of her sisters is now going through the same thing.
Wow.
So they've expanded the committee to other cousins, so, you know, a little further out in the family. And now this enlarged committee is working to take care of and help this other woman who didn't marry and didn't have children. So, you know, I'm excited to get that one edited and put together. We did have a little problem with Zoom. They lost their connection, and so we only have half the recording. So we're gonna have to do it again. But I can't wait to share that information, because a lot of families, it falls on one person to take care of mom or dad or grandma or whomever. And it's exhausting. It's mentally and physically draining. It can be financially draining. And I'm hoping by sharing their story of their committee, which, like I said, I love that term, that maybe other people will see, well, I can only handle this much, but they can do that. If you pull this committee together and everybody does what they are physically and mentally capable of doing, I think everybody would be better off. So I'm hoping once we get that straightened out and launched into the world, that other people will think, well, you know, maybe I can help here, even if it's just a little bit. So I'm hoping to help change people's lives, because caregiving is exhausting and it's very lonely. And there's a statistic that says 65% of caregivers will be hospitalized or die before their caree dies, which is a horrible statistic. So I would like to be part of the solution to that problem.
That's great. Now that committee came about because the members of the family clearly have what would I call that now? A glue between and amongst them that realizes that somebody needs to be cared for, and they need to put aside, if they have any differences, put aside their differences and focus on this person. This person has needs now, you know, and it can happen to any one of us. And probably there's a history of dementia in their family, because you said the sister is going through that now, or the other member of the family. So they have extended that committee or that network. So it requires humans, members of the family, to be able to put aside their personal whatever, because you know what normally happens, or what you've heard happening I am busy, I'm committed to this, I don't have any money to put towards that, and I have this and I have that and I have what, and they sort of focus on all their problems.
Mm-hmm.
And reasons and excuses why they cannot be involved. And even though you're saying to them, even if it's in a small way, can you give 1 hour a week to just go visit? To sit with her or him and read. Can you do 1 hour a week? And sometimes when you break it down to that, they realize how stupid they sound.
Yeah, I'm hoping their story will make people realize, that they can do that. Because I know personally, because I have a grandmother that's 100.5.
Wow.
She's mentally and physically fine. She's mostly blind from glaucoma. And I don't spend as much time with her as I'd like, because she's very good at commanding help, commanding your time. And I have my mom to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't, I've already lost hours that I used to work and time that I used to do other things because I'm taking care of my mom, or, I'm dealing with her stuff. I know if I'm not careful, I will get sucked into doing the same thing for her. Not that she needs much care. And, there's only my sister and I, and then there's my dad passed away. So my Nana's got 2 sons left, and only one is local. And I know from what she's put my aunt through, I can't run the risk of getting sucked in to her daily needs, because, as I said earlier, the bank would like to get paid for the house and the car, and, it's a challenge. And it's kind of similar as when my dad was still alive, and I knew he was having issues, and I knew mom was getting worse. And I kept telling my husband, we need to find a way to spend more time with them, to help them more, because I think they need it. And, I felt that it was our responsibility. And because my dad never asked for help, he never indicated they needed help, and he resisted help when I tried to give it in the past, and we're half an hour away. It was like, how do I put all these pieces of my life puzzle together that fits them in without giving up, taking care of myself, running my business?
Oh, that's an important thing, taking care of yourself, because self-care is the most important. You cannot care for somebody else if you don't care for yourself, and people don't understand that.
And it's very hard when you're a caregiver. That's one of the first things that goes, because, like my mom needs to be told, no, you have to get in the shower. No, you need to wear different clothes today. And
they become a child, a stubborn little child.
Exactly. But you can't treat them like a child, even though they act like one. I mean,
why you can't treat them like, if they become a child, why can't you?
Because most of the time they know they're not.
Yeah, but knowing and behaving like a child are 2 different things.
Yes, but if they know they're an adult and you treat them like a child, you might end up with a fight. You might end up with more problems than less. It's hard.
I know it's hard. I know it's hard.
I go visit my mom every week. My husband and I are Rotarians. My dad was a Rotarian. I go after our meeting on Mondays. This past Monday, she had a dentist appointment, and I try to take her out a lot. We have a lot of regional parks close to where she's at, and taking her out in the sunshine, the fresh air, and the nature is really good for her. And it gives us something to talk about other than, so what have you been up to today? Which is a question she will ask me literally every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And this particular Monday, she says, well, why isn't my husband taking me?
Yeah.
And I have to tell her, because dad doesn't drive anymore. Because one of the things I learned very early on when we moved her into the memory care community was to not invite her to our reality, not remind her over and over again that her husband of 55 years died.
Oh, wow.
Because it will be the first time she
I was
heard
about to say to you, why didn't you tell her that? But that's interesting. Yes.
My sister and I and our husbands were both like, what do we do? You know, she doesn't seem to remember that dad's gone. And, you know, my grandmother, her mom, also had memory loss, dementia at the end of her life. And she would sometimes burst into tears and say to my aunt, well, your father's left me for another woman. And my aunt would say, no, Mom, he didn't leave you for another woman. He died.
Oh, geez.
That wasn't any better. So I, you know, like, I'm not sure which is worse, but, and so I made a comment or something to the business manager where Mom's at. And that's when she said, no, don't invite your mom to our reality. If she doesn't remember and you tell her, then it's the first time she's hearing it. And she's going to have to go through all that grief over and over.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
You know, that's actually really cruel. So we're in the car and she's like, you know, why isn't my husband driving me? Literally, this is about the 5th time she said it. We haven't even gotten out of the parking lot. And I just explained to her, Dad doesn't drive anymore. His vision's not great. Okay, these are not lies. They're not necessarily true, but they're not lies. And she told me, oh, BS. I'm like, ugh. And then you're gripping the steering wheel going, I'm not going to tell her that he's dead. And it's hard. This is my dad.
Are you sure you're not the one with dementia? After all of that?
There are times I'd like to forget she's asked me the same question 500 times. It's just.
What are you learning? What are you learning? Everything I believe has is a lesson. What are you learning from all this?
Well, there's definitely patience.
Yes.
Because, you know, if you get upset with them, you know, you have to think of their brain as a computer that's just not processing correctly. And I heard a good analogy a few years ago is losing your memories is like somebody opening your filing cabinet and just flinging papers out and closing it. And you have no idea which papers are missing until you go looking for them.
Wow.
And then you can't find them, so you have to get a workaround.
Yeah.
And so they're frustrated and they're sometimes angry. And if you get frustrated and angry with them, you're just throwing fuel on the fire. So you have to really bite your tongue, tell white lies, also called fiblets. The Alzheimer's Association likes that term.
Fiblets.
And just be patient. Yeah. And the other thing is, too, is you have to slow way down and you have to kind of be where they're at. When I take my mom to the park, she likes to look at the sky and tell me, oh, the sky is so beautiful. It's so blue. You know, and I look up and I'm like, yeah, okay, the sky's nice. But, you know, when she says that 5 times, it's like, okay, it's just the sky.
No, but she's seen beauty in something that you are not taking the time to see. That's
and so
you are not taking the time to see. But she, in her state of mind where she is, you need to join her there because she's in a space where she's appreciating the finer things, and you're there running around like a chicken without head, not taking the time to slow down and appreciate that the sky is beautiful and blue.
Which I do. It does get hard after, you know, the 7th or 8th time she's mentioned it, but sometimes because she's in the later stages of Alzheimer's, so she doesn't initiate conversations unless a question pops into her head, like, what have you been up to today? Or, you know, where are we going? Or they're very basic questions. They don't generally elicit conversation. Sometimes we just sit quietly, and that's actually not easy, especially, you know, when you're in your mind, you're like, I got to go home and, you know, take care of this campaign stuff and this photography stuff and dinner and the dogs and blah, 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 your head's just.
Why are you worried about all of that when she's just?
It's hard not to, but if you take a deep breath and appreciate.
Do you hold her hand in that quiet moment? And
sometimes
silence. You learn a lot in silence, just sitting there. Slowing down, calming down, the food to cook, the dog to this, the husband to whatever. Forget all of that. This is a time to slow down. Slow down and appreciate the little things, and you would realize all the things you're running after makes no sense.
That's what I'm working on learning.
Yes,
Exactly
it makes no sense. So if no food is cooked, so what? If the whoever is hungry, so what? They're an adult. Figure it out. Right now is me time. Because when she's gone, you would love to have that moment, you know, and you would look back and say, I wish if I had held her hand and just sit with her. The cooking of the food, the dog, the husband, they could have waited.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes things happen in your life to allow you to slow down. I mean, I'll tell you, I mean, I was living in Jamaica for 21 years, and coming back to Trinidad, I came back here last year, and it's I mean, this is my home. This is where I grew up, was brought up, and then I migrated to Jamaica, had a different life there, fast-paced, everything, and then come back to Trinidad. I'm like, what? How do you guys survive here? How do you manage? How do you? Things like the bank, simple things. I'm going crazy and frustrating myself. And I'm like, what? I could easily sit at my computer at home and do all my banking, pay all my bills, clickety click, clackety clack, press the mouse. Why do I have to stand up in a line? Why do I have to come in the bar? What kind of old archaic, you know, and this is not bashing anybody, but it's like, I said to myself, Corinne, stop. There is a reason. This is forcing you to slow down. Because I move fast. I like things to move fast. And so I realized that, hey, why am I fretting over all these things? This is a system. There must be a reason. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't need to analyze it. But it is definitely forcing me to slow down. And because of that, it helped me to appreciate little things. Not that I wasn't appreciating things before, but it is forcing me now to appreciate. So I'm saying to you, life has thrown you something because it realized that you have probably been in a fast pace before, preparing, pleasing others, running behind everybody else. And you just need to slow down and do some self-care. You girls, you and your mom could go to a nice little hairdressing, manicure, pedicure, spa, and just have girls' time where it's quiet, and at the same moment, you can enjoy the time with her. And that's all part of connecting with her, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're actually getting nails done on Monday.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
And she can argue about the color, and you can say, hey, put some glitter on that.
She resists anything that's not what she would have picked before. So I try to pick what I like that fits into what she used to wear, like the color. I don't put on any
challenge her. Say, hey, I'm going to put some glitter on today. I'm going to put some rhinestones, and each finger I'm going to put a different color, you know. Yeah.
I think that would annoy her.
You don't know that. Ask her. She might say, hey, that sounds freaky. Let's do that. You know?
I will ask her. Then I'll email you and tell you what she said.
Yes, I would love to hear. Put a different color on each finger. So you have 10 different colors.
I'll ask her if she wants to do that. She's not receptive to new things at all because it's not familiar.
That's all right. Well, you have to create new things. Not sit in the old, but create new things. Create new memories.
That's what I try. That's why I take her out. Mm-hmm. They were renovating the community that she lives in since June. I was like so excited on Monday. We got our parking lot back, and it's like, yay! Simple things in life. We're so happy.
Yes.
And so that's one of the other reasons I've been taking her out so much is because, you know, it's been torn up and painting and carpet. No fun.
You know what came to me? I remember when my grandmother was aging, because I knew her as an old person when I came to know my grandmother. And she had male companion coming, visiting. Have you ever, when I say male companion, not to do anything, to be intimate, but it's good to have, because she keeps asking for your father, her husband. And I'm thinking, you know, they need to see a man around. They may not worry about their husband or who is gone, but they have a friend, a guy who may be in the same kind of community or somebody who they can talk to. come and visit. It may not be every day, but and they will obviously look forward to that person coming to visit after a while and say, hey, where is Andy? I haven't seen Andy today. And those little things might help stimulate the nerves that, while the memory may not be all too good, but there are certain things that they remember because it makes an impression. Have you ever considered having a male, as opposed to seeing you all the time? She can have, well, what do they call it? Like a playmate. Yeah.
Well, a friend of my dad's was visiting once a month. Mm-hmm. My mom does not remember. If I use the ladies' room, she doesn't remember I've been there. Mm-hmm. So there was one time I used the ladies' room. I'd been there for almost 2 hours. Mm-hmm. Used the ladies' room, came back, and she's like, oh, hi. When did you get here?
That's fine. And you say, I just got here. Work with it. Work with the program, Jennifer. But
unfortunately, at that point, I was about to leave, so it was a bit of a challenge. But she's got a brother that's somewhat local that comes. Mm-hmm. I'll have to see. There was a gentleman in the community with her, mm-hmm. and I believe they moved him over to the assisted living, less care needed part of the community.
And see if he can
Maybe he could go over there and hang out with them, because they used to sit at the table for meals together.
Of course. And they could go out in the garden and sit down and have a nice little conversation. Or probably don't say anything to each other, but just sit there.
Yeah, she does that with her girlfriends. There's 3 of them with the same name, which is funny as heck.
But I think a male person being there with her brings a different spin, a different feel, and I just somehow think that may work. Give it a go and let me know.
I will.
Give it a go and do the 10 fingers in the different colors. I want to see the 10 fingers now, Jennifer. You need to flash it to me.
If she lets me do it, I will send it to you, but I will definitely ask her. Yeah. I'll say, hey, a friend of mine suggested.
Don't ask. Say, hey, I am going to do my fingers in 10 different colors. You want to do that?
Okay. Yeah. I'll put it to her that way.
Yes, I'm going to do something different today. I'm going to do 10 fingers in 10 different colors. That way I'm well covered, like the rainbow. You want to have rainbow fingers? And she's like, I'm sure she's going to say it. Yeah.
I bet you she says no.
Why are you so negative, Jennifer? Go with the program. Go with the program.
That's what I got to tell Mom. Go with the program. Let's do 10 different colors.
We're going to do rainbow today. You just tell her. We're going to do rainbow fingers.
Okay.
I want you to send me pictures of her hands and your hands as rainbow fingers.
Okay.
And get a guy. Start to be a matchmaker. Take on that as a new role. Be a matchmaker and get a guy in her life who would come and sit by and you can be the mom and listen to the conversations they're having and make sure that they behave like proper children.
That could be interesting.
Yeah. Bring a different dynamic.
That would be good too. It's also good for her to bring a different dynamic. So,
of course. What's your website, Jennifer?
It's fadingmemoriespodcast.com.
All right. Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can. Oops. Let me grab that. Come again. Give it to me.
Fadingmemoriespodcast.com.
Ooh, it's nice and pink. Let me see here now. So I'm going to share the screen. Yay. Fading Memories podcast. Welcome to Fading Memories. Yeah. Is that the brain there?
It's a brain with Post-it notes and question marks on it.
Yeah. That's how it really looks in real.
That's how it feels a lot of days.
Whether you have memory problems or not, you have lots of Post-it notes. You have lots of Post-it notes. Yeah. So this is great. Oh, nice. Is that her there?
Yes, and the gentleman in the baseball hat in the middle, he's the one that moved over to the other part of the community.
Oh, I like him already. Get him over there.
He's a really neat guy. And So mom is on the right,
Uh-huh.
and the gal with her head down is the other Diane.
That is beautiful. I love her shirt. It's pretty. Old people are just so awesome. I love older folks, and they're in the little garden.
Mm-hmm. They have a beautiful courtyard where they live.
Oh my God! Isn't even this is good? Having her with a little pet and see him there sitting.
Yeah, that's Juan Pierre. It's the gentleman's dog.
Nice.
My mom's dog was with her until they started renovating. Unfortunately, all of the little old ladies were feeding the dog, so the dog literally weighed twice what she should weigh.
Oh, geez.
And it was causing a lot of problems. And so the dog had to go to a new home, which was sad. But my mom doesn't remember the dog is gone either. So
that's all right. That's okay.
No, it's a good thing that she doesn't remember that. Sometimes memory loss works in your favor. She's got
it does. Oh, yes, it does. Right now, don't we wish we could just forget about a lot of things that has happened, and we just yeah. So there are positives and negatives to it, you know. Keep the ones we want and get rid of the others. They don't have a choice. They after a while it's just automatic. But we would love to be able to block off, cut it off, things in our life.
Definitely.
Yeah. So it works. It works for them. Yeah. They don't have to worry about that or stress or torture themselves about a memory repeating and coming back. It's gone and that's it.
Yep.
Are these her wedding pics?
Yes.
Beautiful. Nice. And she's looking at them trying to remember, I suppose.
She remembered her and my dad, and she remembered their parents. Mm-hmm. Not quite as much her siblings and the cousins, not at all. Mm. So that was interesting because one of the things they suggest as ways of connecting and stimulating conversation is to go back in time, look at old family photos, and right. She's advanced enough in the disease that didn't work as well. It worked better with her wedding album than it did with the scrapbook of my sister and I. Mm. So that was interesting. Mm. Nice. So
great. This is nice.
Thank you.
This is nice. What you're doing. It's good that you've taken a step. Normally when people would complain, I'm not finding anything. I need information on why somebody doesn't do it, and you don't realize why that somebody can't be you.
True.
I just cannot understand some people. Because they would say they need so and so and whatever, and tell so and so to do it, or why somebody can't do it. Why not you?
Exactly. It wasn't that hard. I've had other podcasters say, comment. You've never done an audio type production before? No.
You don't need to be experienced. You don't need to be experienced. You're talking every day. You're talking to me. Why can't you do it?
Right. Being a creative person, after the first couple of episodes of recording without a mic, I'm like, I can't deal with this sound quality. And it wasn't bad. It just didn't sound slick and professional and all the things that I wanted. So I bought a mic. Mm-hmm. And the office in here is not the best because it's a lot of hard surfaces. So when I actually record in my office, I have ways of muffling the harsh wall sounds. It probably sounds a little echoey because of the cabinets and the walls, but
I'm not hearing any echo. Are you hearing echo from me?
No.
Right. And I don't have a mic, and I have hard walls.
See, and it's, that's why I'm surprised the one Alzheimer's podcast that's been around for about 5 years, her audio quality is terrible. Like, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
I don't think she cares. She must not care because it's not hard.
Well, it all depends on how important something is to you and the value, but you have decided that this is valuable to you, this is important, and you want to be different because you were searching for something and you just couldn't find it, and you are upping the game. So you may set the standard for others who may be coming behind you to know this is what you need to do. And I'll tell you, a lot of people who are listening to things may not even focus on the sound quality and the look behind you and whether there's a dragon or whether there's a, whatever. Their focus is really the information. It's not how you look, it's not anything. They come for the information and that's what they come to get. They don't care about anything else.
That's true. I just figure it's easier to get the information if it's easy to listen to. If it's difficult to listen to, or it's difficult because it's hard to hear, or there was one episode she did with an author who I've seen in person twice, and the host's volume was at, say, 8, and the author was probably at a 3.
Wow.
And so listening to it was actually, it was awful. Yeah. I finally turned it off. I'm like, I wanted to hear this author talk. Yeah. I just couldn't deal with it. Yeah. So that's my resources page.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. Something like that is very important because you're really there to hear what the guest is saying. It's very, very important. So this is.
I was trying to give out the information that I had wished that I had known when my mom was first diagnosed. Nice. There's so many resources and I had no idea.
Fabulous.
So I put resources together. There's a favorite things page, which is right now it's just books that I've read and authors that I've interviewed.
Fabulous.
These 2-lap books are fantastic. They're specific. The woman wrote them specifically for her mom, who was in the late stages of Alzheimer's.
Nice.
They have one phrase per page and a beautiful illustration. And then the one at the bottom there, Motherhood Lost and Found, that's the gal that's on my episode this week.
Nice.
She was trying to become a mother at the same time losing her mom to dementia.
Wow.
So it's I've connected with even more people with more resources than I had 5 months ago.
So 5 months has changed your life and changed the lives of others. You are making an impact.
I hope so. No. I feel like I am.
Well, if that is the case, then so it is. And so it is. This is awesome. You're doing a great job. 5 months.
Thank you.
Look at, you know what I always say, if, people look at what you have done in 5 months. People might think, or you may think I've done nothing, But if you really sit down and document where you're coming from to where you are now, the number of things you have achieved, the amount of people that you have interviewed in that 5 months, what you have learned, how you have grown, how you've become a better person. You're still in progress because we're always a work in progress, and the people's lives you have impacted as a result. Come on. I mean, you're doing great. You're doing great.
Thank you.
You're doing great. People want everything to be a big success. You go to bed and wake up kapawi. Everything is everything is all well and done, like KFC, throw chicken in the fryer and everything comes out nice and crispy. No, it takes time.
That is true.
It takes time, and especially with, frying chicken is not as complicated as what you have to do or what we have to do as a radio host, as a podcaster. It takes work, a lot of work. People don't know what goes on behind the scenes in preparation and the during and the after. So when they spend a few minutes with you, it doesn't end for you as the host right there.
Nope.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Jennifer, you're doing fabulous.
Thank you.
Yes, keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop and evolve. One of the things I would say to you as somebody experienced in the industry, because I've been doing this for some years now, is keep evolving. Keep evolving, keep looking, keep listening at what your guests are saying and what you think is needed in the industry to even help people. Don't think any idea is crazy. It comes to you, it comes to you. You just implement it, put it in place.
Exactly.
And try to automate a number of the things so that it will lessen the amount of time that you have to spend doing monotonous type of activities in your podcast. Because remember, your time is already consumed with your family, your mother, etc. So you have to find ways to automate a number of things as possible. Yeah,
that is true.
Yes.
So those are my tips. Because even last night I was working on some things and I'm like, gosh, I spent a whole day just doing this, but it taught me I need to really undo this. Not really undo, I learned from it, but I need to really set up something that wouldn't allow me to be in this spot again. So, you know, as you go along, you learn and you realize, no, I could be doing this better. I could do this better. I need to set this up a little bit differently. So everything is not cut out and, you know, set in place for you. As you go along as a podcaster, you learn and you get better. It takes a while. Yeah.
That is true.
Yes, it takes a while. So those fingers, make sure that I see them, the rainbow fingers. And the Playmate, okay? The Playmate.
Maybe I'll record the conversation about the rainbow fingers and see how it goes.
I would love to hear it. I would love to hear it, and I would love to see those fingers. And another time you'll do some glitter on those fingers, put some rhinestones on those things. Yeah. Have fun, Jennifer Fink. I appreciate having you. I respect you and honor you for the work that you're doing with, you know, your parents, you know, people who you know, the support that you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. There are many people who need to learn to love outside here. They need to love and come right back to the basic. What makes the world go around? Love. That's all it is.
That is true.
That's all it is. Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters but love. Because once you have love, everything else falls into place.
That is true.
Thank you so much for being on Between the Lines.
Thank you.